Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're talking Sentinel League finally. Gonna be jumping into this, jumping into hard for this week, trying to get as much content out there as possible. But what I want to talk about first today is the league mechanic itself. It seems to be getting a little overlooked, but I think it may be secretly OP, and we gotta go over what we know already, why we're getting into like this could be OP thing, and how you can optimize your league starter to take advantage of this. So, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and check out my Twitch channel. We're doing some league start prep videos, streams this week, and then going into league start, we're going to do a huge stream probably for the first few weeks. So, Sentinel league mechanic is currently being overlooked, I think. We're going to go over every specific we know already and what I think is important here. So if we want to start here, the Sentinel is like the complete opposite of Arch Nemesis League as far as the mechanic goes. We need to be looking at this as a mapping mechanic, whereas Arch Nemesis is a boss mechanic. Arch Nemesis, you got to a spot, you summoned one boss most of the time, and you had to kill it. This would be, you are running through the map, just empowering monsters and trying to slay as many packs as possible. This is a mapping mechanic, and you should make your build accordingly. For example, I played Summon Skeletons last league in the league start. I thought, oh, that slays bosses pretty well. Good for Arch Nemesis, which it was. I don't think it'd be as good for this. Still, it's still a very good build, obviously, but should prioritize mapping over bossing if you want to take advantage of this mechanic. I think in general, hybrid builds of can do mapping kind of well, can do bossing kind of well, are not going to be ideal this league. I think they'll fall short on uber bosses, and then they'll also fall short on being able to take advantage of the Sentinel mechanic. So hybrid seems like a no man's land. I would focus on either mapping or bossing, not trying to do both. So let's jump into the Sentinels right away. This is what we know so far. So there are three types of Sentinels. There is the yellow, the Apex Sentinel. This one can only target rare and unique enemies. Has a very moderately long duration, but has the most powerful rewards. Obviously, this is going to be used when you see a lot of rares on the map. I would not save this for the boss. It's usually only one rare, unless you know what map you're doing and you know there's going to be a lot of rares spawning. So yeah, as soon as you see a bunch of rares on your map, I would pop this one. Next one, we have the red one. This is the Stalker Sentinel. This seems to be, this is the level 12 one. So over the level 58 one at least. This is your long duration one. It's going to empower enemies one at a time. And it's going to give them a reward. I think the best way to do this for mapping is you are going to want to pop this immediately at your first pack, and then just go. And then finally, the blue one is your Pandemonium Sentinel. This one is similar to the Stalker Sentinel, but has a really short duration, but can target a lot of enemies at once. So I think this one you want to target your first large pack. If you know the map layout really well, you should know when to use this. If you're doing the same map over and over, you should know how to do this. I think there is potentially slight optimization here where you can just pop this, run as fast as possible, then come back and slay all your packs. This is limited by how many empowers you have on enemies, but if you pop this and it's not completely depleted, I think you can just start running forward until it is depleted, and then come back and slay your enemies. We'll see if that works out the way I think it is, but I think that will be the way to do it. I think it applies as the buff to them. Sentinel doesn't have to be spawned while they're being slayed. So regardless, I think the big thing to look at on these that's being a little bit overlooked right now is that all of these have a duration on them. When I see a mechanic, a league mechanic that I'm going to be running on every single map that has a duration, I think my build needs to be fast. This is, I need to be able to keep up. Granted, this is also limited by empowerment, but if you are getting to the point where you are running out of time before your empowerment runs up, you're just missing out on rewards. So I think speed's going to be a huge thing here. I see a lot of the builds that were good last league, like Summon Skeletons, Seismic Trap. What else was good? Other stuff like that weren't super fast, but they were really good bossers. Speed's gonna matter. Moving quickly. I'm looking at playing like a raider off the get-go already. So, all right. Let's jump into the Sentinel Controller. I think this is where things are going to start to get interesting. We're going to get the things we don't know much about. Sentinels, we kind of get the idea. We don't know the specific mods we're going to see on them, but we know the general idea. The Sentinel Controller is a bit more interesting. This is like a passive tree just for your Sentinels. You're allowed to apply buffs. You see the layout here. This is almost a full one. So you can't get the whole thing filled out, so you have to make choices and stuff. We know almost nothing. I'm hopefully going to have some sort of guide out day 1 or 2 of the league of how to optimize this for what you were trying to do. It's obviously going to depend on your build and what you'd like to accomplish in the game. But I think we do have the list of the ones that were shown in the video. So we'll just talk about these ones real quick, because I think they show what really is important here. The first mod, Stalker Sentinels do not empower normal rarities. I don't think this is super good. This lets you target better rewards on better monsters, I guess. It's okay. Next few are really, really good, I think. Stalker Sentinels have 10% chance to not consume a charge. That's huge when you're talking about empowering being 36. That's an extra 4 charges. Oh no, the 10 charges is the thing. 10 out of 10. That's how many charges you can use it. You can use a charge once per map. So essentially, instead of 10, it would have 11 on average. That's kind of big, especially if it's a really good one. Okay. There's a chance for power cores found to be doubled. This is going to be really important once we know the drop rate of power cores. And we'll get to what power cores do in a second, but this is a Sentinel League currency. We really need to know the drop rate, but if this drop rate's low and you are able to sell these for decent, or you are running maps so quickly that you need more power cores, this could be really, really huge. Like really huge. Okay. Pandemonium Sentinels. Anything to do with Pandemonium, I'm kind of already interested in. I think this is probably gonna be the best one. You're gonna get the most area. Pandemonium Sentinels have 20% increased chain ranges. Probably isn't important if you're doing a speedy build. You'll probably run out of empowerment charges before this becomes a thing, but especially if you're doing juiced maps, I assume the empowerment charges are going to be the limiting factor, not the amount of times they can chain. But Pandemonium Sentinels can be used an additional time. Seems like incredibly OP. Imagine just getting to do this twice throughout a map. Seems really, really, really strong. So empowers 37 enemies. You can now empower 74 enemies. So that's really good. Alright. So, Sentinel Controller, definitely going to have to experiment with. We know a few of the mods, but there's some huge potential here. So we'll come back to that as soon as leagues start. We know everything. Next up, I'm going to skip over this second. We're going to talk about the unique Sentinels. I don't think these are going to be very popular. I could be wrong, because we only have a few examples. But the ones we have are like this Stalker Sentinel. You can only empower rare enemies. Basically, you get an inspired learning on the empowered enemies. This is like, you would probably never use this, I think. There's a long duration, can empower a lot of enemies, but seems like you'd rather have rewards than this. Kind of same thing with this Pandemonium petrifies empowered enemies for 5 seconds, maybe. Powers many as one. Yeah, this seems like I don't know the use case for this, so. I think the most interesting ones are the ones that can only empower bosses. Empowered monster drops 18 currency rewards. You see on this example here, that's kind of huge. And by kind of huge, I mean it's like really huge. So, 5 charges. These unique ones have either more or less charges, it seems, but that's kind of big. If you're running a certain map and you just go to the boss, kill the boss, collect your reward, do that 5 times. That is really good. This seems like a really, really good. So, the only unique one so far that we've seen that I'm interested in is ones that are empowering bosses. Okay. The big thing that I think we really need to talk about right now is the combination of power of Sentinels. So you use power cores, and there's different types of power cores. They'll do different things. Seems like sometimes the mods are basically taken from each depleted Sentinel. So you take your depleted Sentinels after they're out of charges. You can save them in a Sentinel locker that we know we're getting. Don't know how many slots it's going to be, so I assume enough. You can save like the good depleted ones. It has good mods you like, you can save them. Then you can combine the two together and hope to get an even more powerful one, or at least hopefully equally as powerful. This is huge, because if you think about that, that's like basically infinite scaling. You can just keep getting better and incrementally better and better Sentinels, just by combining depleted things that you would normally just throw out and powering them up. This is going to be really dependent on how much the drop rate for power cores is. If power cores are easy to get, this will be OP. This will be so strong. You'll just be able to infinitely scale your Sentinels, and the mappers will cruise through the economy. I know people are already worried about like 6-man groups because everybody in the 6-man group can use their Sentinels at the same time. It could be a problem, especially if power cores and Sentinels drop a lot. It will be a problem. So keep that in mind. It could be harsh on the economy the first couple of days. You can see there's other power cores that do certain things, like chance to have a special base type. I assume this is how you get like your uniques. Higher chance of upgrading the tier of modifiers. That seems pretty cool. And this one's really interesting. The higher chance of a new random modifier. So there's a certain mod pool that can only be obtained from upgrading through power core. This is huge. I think my guess is that this will be how you get the Sentinel currency. I could be wrong on that. This is all just guessing. But I think this will be there will be a mod that says Sentinel. The enemies will have a chance to drop the new Sentinel currency, which we'll lead into now and why that's so important. So this is the new Sentinel currency. We have the recombinators. Jewelry, weapon, and armor recombinators. This allows you to take 2 pieces of armor, combine them together similar to your depleted Sentinel cores, and it'll take the mods from each, base types, and sort it all out. I'm not going to go super into crafting, I'm not a huge crafter, but I know that the crafters that I've listened to already and read about are super excited for this and say this will be how they make the new high-end gear. So, if these are not very common and are only able to be attained from the Sentinel League mechanic, Sentinel League mechanic has just become like the most profitable thing in the game, probably. I don't think we know exactly how these drop, but usually the League currency comes from the League mechanic. This is going to be huge. The early estimates on like price of these, it's going to depend on drop rate, but we're thinking like 50C to a couple X. Probably depending on which one of these is. Like weapon, maybe not as important, but armor and jewelry are probably going to be really, really strong. So, Sentinel currency, huge. We don't know how to get it yet exactly though. So, but my guess is from the League mechanic. Alright. That's everything we know so far, basically, without trying to just guess. So, my overview, speed seems to be the most important for builds, and if you're not prioritizing speed, I don't think I'd be prioritizing this League mechanic. But that seems silly, it's something on every map, Sentinel League. So, definitely, I'm really leaning towards to like a Raider, like Lightning Strike Raider build start. But, up to you, of course. If you want to do bossing, don't do that. We need some more data. We need to know like what this Sentinel Controller looks like exactly. We need to know some of the mods on these Sentinels can do. We need to know how they power up and stuff. We need more data points and we need more information that will come from experimentation. We should have a good idea in the first couple days of the league, and we'll make a new video optimizing, figuring out exactly how to use this stuff. But I think for sure I can say that this is potentially going to be very, very rewarding for people who prioritize this. I think if you skip this, you're making a mistake. I'm prepared to be wrong on that. I think this will be very, very rewarding for mapping. And should probably be used just as you're leveling up because those power cores because those Sentinels can be combined afterwards. So that's my thoughts on Sentinel League. I'm really excited to try this out. I think it looks really, really fun. It looks like a mapping league, which I'm excited for. I like mapping more than bossing, so very excited there. I'm gonna wrap it up there. Remember to click like, follow, subscribe for more Sentinel League videos coming out this week. We could do a couple more probably today. And coming this week, get my league start ideas ready. Put out there. And then make sure to follow my Twitch, link down below, twitch.tv/Ferks. League start planning videos probably this week, and then long league start videos, of course, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.